A freezing van without power should be unlivable within hours. No electricity means no heat. No heat means hypothermia. Hypothermia means death. Yet thousands of homeless people survive entire winters in vans without paying a single dollar for electricity or gas. They're not running generators that cost hundreds. They're not installing solar systems worth thousands. They're harvesting free energy from sources that most people walk past every single day without noticing. What do they know about free power that utility companies don't want you to understand? Here's the thing about living in a van without paying for energy. Most people assume you need money to stay warm. Wrong. Energy is everywhere. It's radiating from buildings, flowing through parking structures, beaming down from the sun, and sitting in batteries that businesses throw away. The problem isn't that free energy doesn't exist. The problem is that comfortable people never learn to see it. Veterans who've survived winters in vans have developed what they call energy vision, the ability to look at any environment and identify every free source of heat and power available. My grandfather used to say a resourceful man never goes cold because heat is always leaking from somewhere. He was talking about finding warm spots in a drafty barn, but he wasn't wrong about survival either. The first free heat source is one that most people never consider: other people's buildings. Here's the science that makes this work. Commercial buildings lose enormous amounts of heat through their walls, especially on sides with less insulation. A restaurant kitchen pushes heat through its exterior walls all night long. A laundromat runs industrial dryers that turn the building's backside into a giant radiator. A 24-hour business keeps its heating system running constantly, and that warmth bleeds straight through brick and concrete. Veterans park their vans against these walls and harvest heat they never paid for. The temperature difference can reach 15 to 20 degrees compared to parking in an open lot. Not bad for positioning, that costs absolutely nothing, right? But building heat only gets you halfway there. Here's where things get interesting. Parking garages are a thermal gold mine that most people completely overlook. Underground structures stay 30 to 40 degrees warmer than surface temperatures because the Earth itself maintains roughly 55 degrees year-round, just a few feet below ground level. That's free geothermal heating, courtesy of the planet. Above-ground parking garages trap heat from vehicles coming and going all day. A structure that sees hundreds of cars generate significant residual warmth that lingers through the night. Veterans know which garages have the most traffic, which levels trap the most heat, and which corners stay warmest longest. Here's the catch with parking garages though: security cameras, overnight policies, attendants who notice patterns. Experienced van dwellers rotate between 3 or 4 structures throughout the week, never parking in the same spot twice in a row. They know which garages have blind spots the cameras don't cover, which have security guards who look the other way, and which are too busy to notice one van among hundreds of cars. This intelligence gets shared through networks built over years of trial and error. A good parking structure location is worth protecting. Pretty clever surveillance avoidance for people supposedly too broken to function in society, right? Speaking of free heat, here's something that sounds almost too simple to work: the sun. Most van dwellers think of solar panels when they hear solar power. Forget the panels for now. Direct solar heating costs nothing and requires zero equipment. Veterans park facing south with their windshield catching maximum sunlight. A van's interior can reach 70 degrees or higher on a sunny winter day, even when outside temperatures hover near freezing. That accumulated heat gets trapped by insulation and carries through the early evening hours. Black curtains hung behind the windshield absorb even more solar energy. Some veterans paint their roof and hood matte black, specifically to maximize heat absorption. Free heating powered by a star 93 million miles away. But here's what nobody tells you about solar heating. Timing matters more than intensity. Veterans move their vans throughout the day to chase optimal sun angles. Morning position faces southeast. Midday position faces due south. Afternoon position faces southwest. Each move captures maximum solar exposure for that time window. Sounds like a lot of effort until you realize it's the difference between a warm evening and a freezing one. The sun provides roughly 1,000 watts of energy per square meter on a clear day. A van's roof and windshield capture hundreds of free watts just by positioning correctly. My grandmother always said the sun doesn't send a bill. She was hanging laundry, but the principle applies to survival heating too. Now here's where free electricity becomes genuinely interesting. The alternator hack. Every van has a charging system designed to keep the starter battery topped up. Veterans install a second battery, called a house battery, and connect it through a battery isolator. While driving, the alternator charges both batteries simultaneously. The house battery powers lights, fans, phone charging, and small heating elements all night long. A 100 amp-hour deep cycle battery costs about $80 used. A battery isolator costs roughly $30. For $110 total, you have an electrical system that charges for free every time you drive anywhere. Here's the thing about alternator charging that maximizes free power. Veterans plan their driving strategically. A 30-minute drive fully charges a depleted house battery, so they schedule errands, job searches, and food bank visits to cover enough distance for a complete charge cycle. Every mile driven is free electricity banked for the night ahead. Some veterans calculate their routes specifically to hit charging thresholds. Drive to the library, charge the battery. Drive to the shelter for dinner, top it off. Drive to the sleeping spot, arrive with full power. The gas you're already burning does double duty. Makes sense, right? But here's the catch with electrical heat. It drains batteries fast, really fast. A small ceramic space heater pulls over 1,000 watts. That would drain a 100 amp-hour battery in under an hour. Veterans don't rely on electrical heat as their primary warmth source. They use electricity strategically for targeted warming. Heated blankets draw only 40 to 60 watts. 8 hours of heated blanket use on a full battery is achievable. Heated seat pads designed for truckers pull even less. 12-volt systems designed for vehicle use are far more efficient than household appliances. A 50-watt heating pad focused on your core accomplishes more than a 1,000-watt heater trying to warm the entire van. Speaking of efficiency, here's where veterans outsmart expensive van life setups. USB-powered heating gear has exploded in recent years. Heated vests draw around 10 watts. Heated gloves around 5 watts. Heated insoles around 3 watts. A small USB power bank costing $20 can run a heated vest for 6 to 8 hours. Charge the power bank at any library, coffee shop, or public outlet. Free heat you carry with you into the van at night. Some veterans maintain 3 or 4 power banks in constant rotation. 1 charging, 1 in the vest, 2 in reserve. Pretty sophisticated power management for supposedly desperate people, right? Now here's where scavenging becomes a genuine skill. Batteries are everywhere, and most of them get thrown away with charge still in them. Power tool batteries from construction sites. Laptop batteries that people discard when screens break. Mobility scooter batteries that get replaced but still hold 80% capacity. Electric bike batteries left in dumpsters when the motor dies. Veterans develop relationships with repair shops, recycling centers, and construction crews. They know which days the e-waste gets put out. They know which mechanics save old batteries for them. A single salvaged deep cycle battery represents hundreds of hours of free power that someone else decided was garbage. Here's the thing about battery safety that separates survivors from statistics. Lithium batteries can catch fire if damaged, overcharged, or short-circuited. A van fire in winter doesn't just destroy your home, it can kill you. Veterans inspect salvaged batteries carefully for swelling, damage, or corrosion. They use proper charge controllers that prevent overcharging. They never leave charging batteries unattended. They keep batteries in fireproof containers or bags designed for lithium storage. The free power is only free if you survive to use it. My grandfather used to say, free things cost attention. He was right about batteries especially. Speaking of free charging, here's where urban infrastructure becomes your power grid. Public outlets are everywhere once you start looking. Libraries have outlets at every study desk. Coffee shops have charging stations. Airports have power available throughout terminals. Hospital waiting rooms keep outlets accessible. Laundromats have outlets near every folding table. Churches often have outdoor outlets left powered year-round. Some veterans map every public outlet in their territory like marking water sources in a desert, a mental grid of free electricity across the entire city. But here's the catch that trips up newcomers. Outlet hunting has etiquette and risk. Spending 4 hours at a library table to charge your gear is generally fine. Plugging into an outdoor outlet behind a closed business at 3 a.m. can get you arrested for theft of services. Veterans know the difference between acceptable charging and behavior that attracts police attention. They buy a small coffee to justify 2 hours of cafe outlet use. They know which businesses are friendly and which will call security. They rotate locations to avoid becoming recognizable. Staying invisible while harvesting free power is an art form. Now here's where heat generation without electricity gets creative. Chemical hand warmers cost about 50 cents each and produce heat for 8 to 10 hours. That's 160 hours of warmth for about $10. Not exactly free, but close. Here's where veterans make them essentially free. Many shelters, churches, and warming centers give hand warmers away during cold weather. Some veterans collect 20 or 30 at a time, building reserves that last weeks. Positioning matters more than quantity. One hand warmer placed against the femoral artery in your inner thigh warms your entire body through blood circulation. 2 hand warmers in your core area outperform 5 stuffed randomly in pockets. Here's something else most people overlook completely. Candle heat is real heat. A single tea light candle produces roughly 30 watts of warmth. 4 or 5 candles under an upside-down terracotta pot create a radiant heater that can raise a small space's temperature by 10 to 15 degrees. The clay absorbs heat and releases it slowly, continuing to warm even after the flames are out. Dollar stores sell tea lights at roughly 25 for $1. That's hours of heat for pennies. Pretty efficient thermal engineering for garage sale materials, right? But here's the catch with any combustion inside a van. Carbon monoxide. People die every single winter from burning things in poorly ventilated vehicles. You cannot smell carbon monoxide. You cannot see it. You just get sleepy and never wake up. Veterans treat this threat with absolute seriousness. Carbon monoxide detectors cost about $20 and are non-negotiable safety equipment. Ventilation stays open whenever any flame burns. Most veterans extinguish all candles before sleeping, using the accumulated heat in the terracotta pot as residual warmth. The free heat is only free if you're alive to enjoy it. I learned something about free power the hard way, talking to a veteran who'd spent 6 winters in a cargo van. He said his first winter, he focused entirely on staying warm and almost burned his van down twice with improvised heating. His second winter, he focused entirely on electricity and drained his starter battery. So many times he burned out 2 alternators. By his third winter, he understood that heat and power are a balanced system. You need enough of both, managed together. Now his setup runs like clockwork. Battery charges while driving. Candles warm the space while he's awake. Heated blanket keeps him warm while sleeping. No single system carries the whole load. So what have we learned? Getting free heat and power in a freezing van isn't about one magic solution. It's parking against warm buildings and inside thermal gold mine parking structures. It's chasing the sun across the sky and painting surfaces black to absorb more energy. It's alternator charging through strategic driving and house batteries that store free power for the night. It's USB heated gear and salvaged batteries and mapping every public outlet in your territory. It's hand warmers positioned on arteries and terracotta heaters that cost pennies. It's carbon monoxide awareness and ventilation discipline that keeps the free heat from becoming fatal. These aren't just homeless hacks. They're the same energy harvesting principles that engineers use designing off-grid systems and emergency shelters. Passive solar gain, thermal mass, strategic electrical storage, discovered independently by people who needed warmth and power but couldn't afford to pay for either. Energy is everywhere, leaking from buildings, radiating from the sun, stored in batteries people throw away, flowing through outlets nobody guards. You just have to learn to see it. Humans are remarkably resourceful when survival demands it. And frankly, that's pretty impressive.